From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is the Thunder Update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio with Maddie Lee, Thunder beat writer. Hey, Maddie, season's starting.
I know. I had a stress dream about travel last night, so that's how you know.
You know it's time. Well, Thunder opens on Wednesday night. They are headed out to Utah. It's an 8 o'clock tip, and then they'll be home on Friday for their home opener against Washington. But what do we expect in this season opener? I mean, obviously, whole new team practically, but what's your expectation in this opener on Wednesday night?
It'll be a really interesting game because we still have so many question marks, right? We don't know what the starting lineup is. Billy Donovan has played with it several times. He's thrown 3-point guards out there for their first preseason game. He's done it with 2, and we haven't seen Chris Paul play in the last 2 preseason games. So a lot still up in the air. I think you can expect a team that is focused on ball movement. That's what they've been really preaching on offense all preseason. But we've also seen them, when Chris Paul was not on the floor, get a little panicky in that 3rd preseason game and go away from that identity. So I think Chris Paul will be a calming presence out there, and even without him, they were able to kind of recollect in that 4th preseason game. But we're going to be focusing a lot on ball movement and on defensively getting back in transition. And other than that, everything's pretty much up in the air.
Well, and I wonder too, you know, the Utah Jazz are a team that some people are saying they're in the running to win the whole thing. I mean, this is a team that has gotten a lot better. They were already really good, obviously led by Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, but now an even better Utah Jazz team at home to start the year. Everybody knows that's a tough place to go and win regardless. But this is going to be a big test. So how are we going to be gauging? I mean, all these things we want to know about the Thunder, and yet this is an opponent that they're going to shellac a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Conley was a huge get for them in the offseason to really add to that backcourt, along with, as you mentioned, Donovan Mitchell. So a win? Probably not. You know, you guys can come back and say I told you so if I'm wrong, but really tough opponent. What the Thunder is going to be focusing on is sticking to their identity, sticking to the principles that they've hammered away in preseason. And we're going to see a lot of games this season where, you know, here in Oklahoma City, been used to a perennial playoff team, and that's not the case anymore. And so they'll have to take not necessarily those moral victories, but really looking at how they play and how close they're sticking to their identity as opposed to the result against some of these better, you know, contenders.
Yeah, definitely. So, by the way, with the season starting, we are pulling back the curtain a little bit on preseason expectations and what this season may look like with a preview section that will be in the Oklahoman on Wednesday, and then we'll obviously be online as well. You, Maddie, looked at Billy Donovan. Obviously, you know, one of the pieces of the puzzle that has stayed in place. But what's sort of the feeling about Billy Donovan and his role in this whole thing as the Thunder really does change its identity moving forward?
Yeah, it's an interesting place for him to be in because he's in the last year of his contract. Last year, the Thunder picked up his 5th-year option. So last year of that 5-year contract, and he's got an entirely new team here. He's got a lot of young guys that he's going to focus on developing. But I think what we as an NBA community sometimes forget is that he had a ton of success in college. And the role of a college coach a lot of times is to develop young talent and be able to adjust to new groups coming in year after year. So I'm not saying that Billy Donovan is going to have his best year or even that this is necessarily going to be the best fit for him, but it's going to be a time where we can see a different side of Billy Donovan, and it could potentially play to some of his strengths in terms of development and adjusting to big swings in terms of who your personnel is. All
right, you're going to want to check out Maddie's story. She talked to tons of people about Billy Donovan. Check that out. Check out our preseason picks. You can come back at us in a few months and tell us how we did. We're sure you will, but you'll want to check that out on Wednesday, our Thunder preview section. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.